Good morning everybody. It's Wednesday, my name is Richard Hornby and you join me here in the churchyard of St Giles Church, Gilesgate, and this is where we're starting today's Wednesday walk. If you've been watching previous series, you'll know on Wednesdays I go out for a walk in my local area and I show you a few sights, and today we're starting here and we're going to walk around Pelaw Wood. So hopefully this will be a nice 15 minutes relax with the sounds of nature in the background. I hope you look forward to joining me. I've put, as always, the scroller for emergency contact details on the bottom of the screen. So if you do need help during this coronavirus pandemic, please do not hesitate to use them and to get in touch. But without further ado, it's time to start today's Wednesday walk. So as I say, I'm starting here in this sort of extension to St Giles Church graveyard, and you might be able to see in the distance, flying overhead, there they go, some racing pigeons which are based over in the allotments. Here they come again over the trees. And we might see those quite a few times on this little walk. But we're going to start here and we're going to head down into Pelaw Wood and hopefully enjoy some nice sights and sounds of Durham. So for those who don't know, St Giles Churchyard is in two parts. This part here where I'm walking, and over there towards the main church with the flats of St Giles close in between the two. But today we're heading down this little footpath here towards Pelaw Woods. And one of the more distinct features that we might see is once again rabbits, possibly pheasant, and also lots of other bits of nature around. So as we head down this path, you might spot glinting in the ground some pieces of glass, and that's because historically there was an old bottling factory, plant, whatever you call it, around here, and there was a dump of waste bottles made just further to the side of the path. And as things get eroded, lots and lots of bits of broken waste glass are coming to the surface. This isn't new glass, this is quite old historic glass that's been there for a long time. Now, for those people who haven't joined me before on these, you'll know that I don't have a Steadicam or anything. I am literally just holding the phone in front of my face, so it's quite hard to hold it steady, so apologies if there's any wonky camera work. Just popping my head into that woodland glade there. Now, Pelaw Wood does have some interesting terrain. And as we pass this clump of wild garlic on our left, we're approaching one of the more dramatic points, which is Silverlink Bridge. So here's our wild garlic, and this is actually the steepest part of today's walk, so please forgive me for walking fairly slowly. But here is Silverlink Bridge. And what you can see is that this sort of crosses a ravine. There used to be a watercourse in here, but as you can see up by that railing over there behind the tree, you'll see it better in a minute, it actually goes under a pipe now, because this ravine heads towards the College of St Hilda and St Bede from Durham University, and obviously that can't be built on a watercourse, so it was covered over. You can see where the watercourse enters just here, and it goes under into a pipe just there. There's a lot of wild garlic about here at the moment. So this is the view from one side of Silverlink Bridge, and here's the view from the other. We're not actually going to go down to the bottom today. What we're going to do is head straight on along the bridge and do a little bit of a loop around the other side and finish, as I like to do, with quite a spectacular view. Pelaw Wood is quite a mature woodland, lots of native species of tree. Around. There's a beach just down there, I can see clearly. And we also have, as I pointed out on the last walk, bluebells coming out. The other nice thing about this walk in Pelaw Wood is that it has a fantastic gate that we can open. There we go, nice gate. Has a lock but no bolt, which is quite interesting. And also there's a lot less hill to climb than our last walk. So Pelaw Wood does have quite a few clearings. It's actually looked after by a friends group, the Friends of Pelaw Wood, who regularly maintain it and look out for areas in it. And I'll just stop here because we now have hawthorn properly in blossom. When we started these walks we had it just in bud, but now it's properly in blossom. And also we've got fronds of bracken appearing from the undergrowth. So this is the only slight incline, I believe anyway, on today's walk. So what we're going to do is we're going to head this way, skirting the edge of the wood. We're going to head essentially towards the field that you saw last time. It's an oak tree. Yeah, I think so. Definitely looks like an oak tree. We're going to head, as I said, to the field we looked at last time. Then we're going to head right down a little bit of a slope to a interesting little area. Then we're going to head back up to here again and along that path to the right. So it's sort of almost a figure of 8 that we're going to walk in. Here's another younger oak tree. Now, along with Gilesgate Residents Association, the Friends of Pelaw Wood have secured a grant from the Woodland Trust for a number of new trees that will be planted in this area next winter. Well, assuming that restrictions are lifted by then at any point. So these areas that have been cleared are going to be restocked because, as I said, this woodland is being managed, so that's fantastic. And I don't know if you can see, but down here in the valley we do have some more wild bluebells. Now, I've said in the past that these walk videos tend to be a little longer than the 15 minutes or so. Right, here's a challenge for you viewers in the chat. If you know what this plant is, let me know, because it's lovely. It's a little plant on a stem. But these videos do tend to be a bit longer than the normal 15 minutes, so this will probably be about 20. So if you do want to take a break and head back later and watch the second half, you're more than welcome to. Oh, I've got some white flowers here. Again, I have no idea what these are. I should just bring a book on wildflowers when I'm doing these and try and identify them. But once again, if anyone knows what this is, do let me know. I'm pretty sure the blue at the back is forget-me-nots. But this little meadow is absolutely gorgeous and really hidden and tucked away. Now, this is a reverse angle on the field from what you saw yesterday. Sorry, last week. This is the field over towards Rabbit Banks, where I fell over last time, if you remember. Definite tree here that I can identify. Horse chestnut. Those giant leaves are very distinctive. So, I'm going to be following this little path now, which should have a little bit of a slope downwards, and then we head back up the other side towards the viewpoint. Wood pigeon there, I don't know if you saw it, splitting into the trees. Also, we do have a lot of bird song, so this might be the time for a little bit of quiet to listen to the birds. Obviously, with the tips and everything closed, I think we'll follow this path, see where it leads. These areas are very prone to fly tipping, and we just passed a little bit there. I hope you didn't see it in camera. It's some kind of deck chair or something. Now, I believe, if I've done this right, there should be a flight of steps ahead of me somewhere. I can see them. And then we head up those steps to the viewpoint. I've never actually been down this little particular bit of Pelaw Wood before, but I know people, some of the friends of Pelaw Wood do watch these videos. So if there's a patch of Pelaw Wood that I've missed out and they'd like to share it with me, I'm sure we can have another walk here at some point. Anyway, here's my flight of steps that I'm going to head up, and on the right hand side we've got some more of that lovely pink plant, which I can't identify, but I'm sure one of you lot can. And as I said, this is a loop, so in about 2 minutes we'll end up just about back where we started, by that bluebell, and then we're going to head over to our left here for the last little bit, the walk to the viewpoint. Now, I hope that those of you who are under strict self-confinement and are following the proper advice, because you've got underlying health conditions, staying at home, enjoy this ability to have a little look around outside and see my local area. Because although I live in a city, I think this is probably one of the UK's greenest cities. And I would encourage you to please do come along and visit if you can, but leave some secluded areas like this for people to escape it, to relax. Got a holly tree here, more bluebells, and as we come to the end of today's walk, can I thank you all for staying and listening and watching the scenery around me. I hope it's been a relaxing lunch break and has given you all those positive vibes that experiencing nature can bring you, so you can face the afternoon and the rest of the week in a better mood. Tea with Richard will be back on Friday again with Your Corner, so please, if you do have some submissions that you'd like to send in for Your Corner, do email them to the usual address, which will be on the bottom of the screen now, and we'll share those at the start of Friday's episode. I haven't quite worked out what the theme of Friday's episode will be, but don't worry, I'm sure it will come to me in the next 2 or 3 days. And anyway, I mentioned on the last episode the riverbank had sort of fallen over into the river a bit, and this is the area that was reinforced because of that. And a couple of the trees were moved, so this is where I'm choosing to end today's walk through Pelaw Wood, looking down this fairly steep embankment. If you're not sure about the scenery here, the river is basically there at the bottom, which is where the footpath was the other day. Durham City Boat Club is to my left, and what you're looking across is, I believe, one of the pitches of Durham City Rugby Club, but it might be the university. And you've also got here, and hopefully you can see the groundskeeper with his sheepdog mowing Durham City Cricket Club. There we are, Durham City Cricket Club's groundskeeper and sheepdog. You might even be able to hear it actually, mowing the lawn. Don't know when the opening day of the cricket season will be this year, if there is one, but this is the little view that we're ending today's episode with. And again, you've got Maiden Castle just in the background about here, and you've got the University Sports Facility. And if we do come back for another walk in this area, we'll head that way along this path a bit further and see a lovely view of the cathedral. So can I thank you very much for watching and for joining me here in Pelaw Wood, and I look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a lovely afternoon. And remember, as always, the best way to defeat this virus is to remember to wash it.